Hi everyone, Greeno here and welcome to another video here on my Greeno Eats channel. Now today, as you can see, I am back in my kitchen and that means I'm going to be cooking up a storm once again. And it's time for another one of my budget meals. Now, a lot of these I've been doing have been based around like a cheap ingredient you can get from somewhere, whether that be like a piece of fish from Iceland or a pie or something like that, and just finding cheap ingredients to go around it. This one, we're pretty much cooking from scratch and it's an interesting one. Can you believe you can make a reasonably authentic spaghetti carbonara with a side salad for less than £1 a portion? Doesn't sound like it should be possible, does it? It is. So let's have a little look at the ingredients for this spaghetti carbonara I'm going to make. Over here on the chopping board we have 50 grams of bacon. Now this is just that cooking bacon that you get in most of the major supermarkets these days, really cheap. This one was from Tesco, it's Woodside Farms brand, and it's £2 a kilo. So amazingly, that bacon there is just 10 pence worth. It's all just little offcuts, but when you're doing something like this, that doesn't really matter. You're chopping it up anyway. We have a garlic clove there, which I've just pressed down upon just to open it up. Now that's going to cook with the bacon, just to impart a little bit of flavour. We're going to take it out before we actually make the sauce. And the way I'm going to cook the bacon is to cook the fat in the pan first so it releases the fat from it. Take that out and then we'll cook the bacon in that residue in the pan. Okay, over here are the main ingredients for the sauce. We have an egg. This is a nice farm fresh egg. We get these £1.50 for half a dozen. So that's 25 pence worth of egg. In here we have the cheese element, which is a mixture, about 2/3 Parmesan, 1/3 Pecorino, and amazingly that whole ramekin, that's only 20 grams of cheese. Those hard cheeses really do kind of bulk up when you grate them, so we're going to be using most of that in the sauce and we're going to reserve a little bit just to put over the top. Plenty of black pepper in there. We have Tesco's Hearty Food Company spaghetti. Now this is just 28 pence for 500 grams. I'm going to use 100 grams in this portion, which is plenty. So that's only about 6 pence worth of pasta, which is pretty good. And that leaves enough money in the budget, again, for a little side salad. So we've got a romaine lettuce here. Now this was 50p, this lettuce. The kids and the missus have been at it a little bit for their packed lunches this week. So there's probably about half left. We're going to chop off a bit from the top and just make a salad. Use a bit of the Caesar dressing, and if there's any cheese left over, we'll whack that over it as well. So as always, I will put all the costings onto a little sheet on the screen. Under £1 a portion again for a spaghetti carbonara with a side salad. Get in. Okay, so I've got this bacon fat now, just cooking up in the pan, and I don't know if the camera can pick it up very well, but it's already starting to release the fat that we're actually going to cook the bacon in. I've put the garlic in now because I want it to flavour that kind of oil, that grease, just to get a hint of garlic flavour into the dish. Like I say, you don't want to put garlic in the finished sauce, but we're just going to let this cook down a little bit more and then the bacon can come in. We'll take everything apart from the garlic out and just replace it with the bacon in that pan. Right, that bacon fat has done its job now. You can see it's gone all very kind of brown and crispy, but there's quite a lot of oil in the bottom of the pan now. You can see where the garlic has just fallen down. You can see it glistening in the light. So that's what we're going to be using to cook the bacon in now. Time to get the fat out and the bacon in. So here we go with the diced bacon. We'll get that all in there and we'll crisp this up till it's almost cooked, and then we're going to take it off the heat because it does need to cook a little bit more at the end. When you've taken it off the heat, it's just going to sit and rest, but we're actually going to make the sauce in this pan. So when the pasta is cooked, we need to put the pan back on the heat just to warm back up again, which will cook the bacon a little bit more. And then we're going to add in the sauce, which I'm going to be making next. Okay, so the bacon now, you can see all crisped up lovely. So we're going to take that off the heat. And we're going to replace it with a pan of boiling water here. And that's for the pasta, of course. Okay, so we have about 100 grams of spaghetti here. So we'll just get that in the pan. Now, a good rule of thumb when you're cooking spaghetti is that there should be at least a litre of water per 100 grams of pasta. I've got much more than that here. I think this holds about 2.5 litres, this pan. And we're just going to push it down in. Probably using a wooden spoon is a little safer than doing it with your hands, so that we can get it all into the water there. And that's going to take 8-9 minutes, I guess. So that gives us time to knock up this kind of slurry thing that we need for the sauce out of the egg and cheese. So let's go and do that now. Okay, so we have our egg, and quite simply we're just going to crack it and put it into this bowl. Now, some recipes you'll see will give you a recipe with just egg yolk, or maybe you'd use 1 egg and 1 egg yolk. I think it works perfectly fine, just like this. What you really want to do though is try and get some air into that egg if you can. So, if I can find a fork or a whisk or something, here we go. So I'm going to give this a really good mix up before we put the cheese into it. Okay, so as you can see here, we've got kind of a little bit of froth on there. There's the where I've worked some air into that egg. So that's kind of the consistency we're looking for. And into that, I'm going to put the majority of this cheese. Like I say, I want to keep some back. It's easier just to get in with my hands, I guess, isn't it? Keep some back just to put on the top of the finished dish, and a little bit to go into the salad. There we go. And then we just mix this all together. So it's going to form kind of like a paste. And then we'll add a load of black pepper into that. And then basically the idea is once the pasta is cooked, you put it into the warm pan with the bacon, add this mixture on the top, and that kind of residual heat from the pasta and the bacon will cook this. Now, what I would say is obviously it's not going to thoroughly cook the egg, so just be mindful, you know, if you're pregnant or anything, you know, have any of those kind of sort of health concerns where raw egg could be an issue, or undercooked egg, that maybe this is a dish you should avoid. But for most people out there, eggs are perfectly fine these days. You know, you're all eating mayonnaise and whatever, and that's got raw egg in it, hasn't it? So that's what we're after. That's the sauce. Just need to wait for the pasta to cook now. Almost forgot, we're going to need a load of black pepper to go in here. Black pepper is a great flavour in this dish. The more the better, to be honest. Of course, you can always add some more onto the finished dish, but I reckon that should be about enough. And of course, let's not forget about our little side salad. So I've taken maybe about 1/3 of what was left of that lettuce. Not a whole lot, as you can see here. Giving it a nice wash, and going to add a little bit of this Caesar dressing, just a little drizzle. And then when it's time to serve, we'll season it with a bit of black pepper and some of the reserved Parmesan that I've still got left here. So we're just waiting for the pasta to finish cooking. It won't be long now, just another minute or so, I think. But what is a good idea at this point is to take a little bit of this, this pasta water, and you're going to reserve it because sometimes the sauce needs a little bit of loosening down. So I'm just going to take 2 or 3 spoonfuls of this pasta water and just leave it to one side. And if the sauce is a bit thick, when we put it in, we can use that pasta water to loosen it. Pretty much there for the pasta, I think. Yeah, time to get it drained. The pan with the bacon is back on the heat again now, just to warm up. Keeping these things moving around so they don't get burnt or too crispy. We'll give it a little bit of a spread out around the pan, and then it's going to be time to go in with the pasta. And what we want to do is try and coat it with a bit of everything that's in the pan here. I'll turn that down. There we go. Get that moving around. Again, we don't want anything sticking. As you can hear, there's some heat in the pan now. So what we're going to do is go in with our egg and cheese slurry. Now we want to do this pretty quickly. In fact, I'm going to use the spoon there to get as much of that out as I can, because we want to get this moving around. The last thing you want to do is to end up with scrambled egg. Now, as you can see, this is starting to coat the pasta. Cool, it's got a lovely cheesy aroma. I think that sauce is a little thick, so we are going to add in a little touch of this water just to thin it down, and we'll be ready to serve. Okay, so here we have the finished dish, the spaghetti carbonara with a little Caesar side salad. Now what I will say, obviously you can see it's a bit drier than I'd like it to be. I think the pan was a bit too hot when I put the pasta and the sauce in, so it has kind of scrambled a little bit, but the flavour should still be good. Let's give it a go. Right then folks, let's start with a little bit of this salad. So as you can see on here, I've added a little bit of that grated parmesan on the top, along with that kind of Caesar dressing. Lovely fresh crunchy lettuce. It's just a really nice little flavour combination, isn't it? Bit of black pepper in there, a little crack of salt. Really nice. But, well, supposedly anyway, the star of the show is going to be this pasta. See it steaming away there. Again, sprinkling of parmesan on the top there. Like I say, it's gone a little drier than I would like it. It's not really the silky kind of sauce I was hoping for, but that's on me as a chef rather than anything else. Like I say, just had the pan a bit too hot and left it in there a bit too long while I was chatting. So hopefully the flavour's still going to be good though. Let's get this on here like that. So we've got a bit of everything there, a bit of the pasta, we got some of the bacon in there, a bit of cheese. Now of course, if you were to do this authentically, you'd be using guanciale or something like that instead of this this cheap bacon I've got. You might even use pancetta perhaps. For something like this, I don't think it makes that much difference. Obviously you're still getting that lovely salty bacon flavour in there. There we go, look at that, that's going to be a good mouthful, isn't it? Still getting that flavour of the cheese. And even though this is only really cheap spaghetti, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. Is it the best spaghetti I've ever had? Of course not. But is it that important? Probably not. I feel a bit like Lady and the Tramp there, kind of slurping the spaghetti in. Well, like I say, if the sauce had been a little silkier, this would be an absolute delight. Let's say it's a little dry now, not too dry to eat. What I mean is, obviously, if it was saucier, you know, you'd see it glistening all the way down here, maybe dripping a bit off the bottom there. But it just wasn't to be. But anyway. For a meal, in terms of ingredients, it's cost less than £1. You really can't go wrong. Carbonara is a classic dish, and it's amazing when cooked properly. But it's even not bad when it isn't. And with that little side salad, just every now and again, because it's quite a rich dish, isn't it, with the egg and the cheese and the bacon. Just to have that little bit of salad on the side just helps to cut through, so it's not the same sort of flavour profile all the way through. Yeah, this is a cracking lunch. Well then, folks, what did you think of that, other than the the lack of culinary skill from the chef? I think it's an idea. It's really good, isn't it? It's a very, very low-cost way. Okay, you're cutting a few corners perhaps along the line, but you're still using the Parmesan and the Pecorino. Of course, you can just use one or either. Or if you haven't even got either of those, pick another hard cheese. I mean, you could probably even do it with cheddar. I wouldn't recommend it, but you could. With a cheap pasta, cheap bacon, but the rest of the ingredients being of a decent quality, I think this is a cracking less than £1 meal. Let me know below what you reckon about it. Okay, so that's going to be it from me for today. What I will ask you is if you have any more ideas about things that I could do for less than £1 a portion, always put them in the comment section down below. I'll add them to the list and see if there's a way I can work them out. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget, click a thumbs up on there for me. It does help with the channel. And if you're new around here and you like what you've seen, why not consider clicking the subscribe button, ding your little bell for notifications, and you won't miss anything that comes up on the channel. All right, that's it from me for now. I'll catch you on the next one.